Leo, you already know it deep down, don't you? Something big is shifting. And no, it's not your imagination. This moment right now was divinely designed for you. God is sending a blessing straight from heaven, and it carries not only light, but also a large sum of money that is meant to restore, reward, and realign your path. You're not here by accident. You're not watching this just to pass the time. The truth is, the universe chose you to receive this message today. It's been whispered to your soul for days, maybe even weeks, but today, it's clear, loud, and undeniable. You've arrived at a cosmic threshold, and your next step matters more than you know. This message isn't just about predicting change, it's about preparing your spirit to fully receive it. And not just any kind of change. This is a heaven-approved realignment, marked by divine timing, guided by sacred justice, and delivered through real-world blessings. A breakthrough is coming, Leo. And you will not walk out of this moment empty-handed. When I pulled the first card for you, it was the Judgment. And immediately, I felt a wave of divine confirmation ripple through the space. The energy said one thing loud and clear: it's time. No more waiting, no more doubting, no more wondering if you're worthy. What was once denied, delayed, or even stolen from you, whether it was money, recognition, or your rightful place, will now find its way back to your hands. Not because you begged for it, but because it was always yours. It's justice. It's return. And it's here. But here's what's most important: the blessing that's coming is not just financial. It's spiritual. It's emotional. It's a reminder that God never forgot you, even when you felt invisible. It's a divine announcement that the hard seasons weren't in vain. That your pain didn't go unnoticed. That the nights you spent holding yourself together while everything fell apart were seen. And now, you are about to be seen in return. So, let me ask you, Leo, what do you feel stirring inside you right now? Is it the rising sense that something is shifting? That the air feels different? That your heart is being called to prepare, not panic? If you're still watching, I want you to pause and acknowledge this: you're ready. Even if you don't feel ready yet, something deep within you already is. That's why you're here. That's why you couldn't scroll past this. That's why your spirit leaned in when the title whispered your name. And before we go deeper, I want to take a sacred moment to thank you for showing up. Thank you for every like, every comment, every time you subscribed and brought your energy into this space. Your presence fuels the work, and your support is what allows messages like this to reach those who need them most. From the depths of this sacred space, thank you. Now, I invite you to anchor this energy in the comments below. Write, "I'm ready to receive what is mine," to declare your alignment and open the flow of blessings into your life. Let the universe hear you. Let God see you lean in. Because trust me, Leo, you'll want to stay with me until the very last second of this video. What the heavens are about to reveal next will shake the ground you walk on in the best possible way. Let's begin. Sometimes, the universe doesn't speak in thunder. It speaks in patterns. In delays. In prolonged silence. And it is often in that silence that your spirit begins to wonder if all the giving, all the trying, all the forgiving was in vain. But Leo, it wasn't. What you thought was ignored was being recorded. What you thought was taken from you without justice was, in truth, held in a sacred place, waiting for the exact right time to return, not as it left, but multiplied. Because the universe is not cruel. It is just patient. And now, the wheel has turned. Energetically speaking, we are stepping into a season where your past efforts, especially the ones no one saw, are now returning to you. Not because you're asking for a favor, but because you've already paid the price. There's a difference. You gave your best when others gave excuses. You held your light when others dimmed yours. And even when you were betrayed, ignored, or dismissed, you stayed grounded in your heart. That's not weakness. That's spiritual maturity. And now, that frequency is calling your abundance back home. In the metaphysical world, this moment is referred to as a balancing of energetic accounts. Some call it karma, others call it alignment, but what it truly is a return. And Leo, your return is not symbolic. It's real. Material. Tangible. It may come as a lump sum payment you forgot was owed. A business offer that suddenly opens. A legal matter that finally rules in your favor. Or perhaps a person who once held back recognition finally speaks your name with truth and clarity. Whatever form it takes, this isn't luck. It's balance. And it's long overdue. This is why, if you've been seeing angel numbers like 888, it's not coincidence. That number vibrates with the energy of infinite abundance, the end of financial struggle, and the opening of energetic channels related to prosperity. It is the universe's way of signaling to you, keep your frequency clean. Keep your heart aligned. What you are attracting now is what you are finally ready to receive. But readiness is not only spiritual, it is behavioral. This is a time to watch your words, especially around money. Avoid saying, "I can't afford that," or "it always goes wrong for me." The universe doesn't filter sarcasm or self-deprecation. It responds to vibration. Speak life. Speak circulation. Speak enough. And above all, express gratitude. Start simple. Keep a short gratitude journal. Each morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for, especially related to money or material comfort. Don't wait until the abundance shows up to appreciate it. Appreciation is the doorway through which blessings return. And if you're struggling to feel grateful for the material right now, anchor into the fact that you still have vision. That your soul still believes. That you are still listening. Color can also be a powerful tool to align your vibration. Wearing gold, olive green, or warm amber tones can subtly signal your body and energy field to harmonize with abundance. These tones carry frequencies of financial grounding, confidence, and openness to receive. You're not just dressing for fashion, you're dressing for alignment. Leo, what's most beautiful about this season is not just the wealth that's coming, but the way in which it will affirm everything you've ever believed in. That love without strings is still worth it. That generosity returns, even when it once looked invisible. That your dignity has value. And that, yes, the universe was always watching. So stay open. Stay receptive. And remember, this is not about being lucky. This is about being ready. Your harvest has heard your name. And now, it's making its way home. What comes next is not random. In fact, it's been building silently in the background of your life, like the soft rumble of thunder before the rain arrives. This opportunity, this door that's about to open is not a test. It's a reward. A response to the quiet commitment you made to keep showing up, even when no one was clapping. And now, as energy shifts around you, you may feel a sense of urgency in the air. It's not pressure. It's calling. A cosmic knock echoing at the edges of your awareness, asking if you're finally ready to say yes to what has always been meant for you. Leo, your soul is wired for boldness, for self-expression, for taking up space. But over time, even the brightest hearts can dim under the weight of hesitation. Doubt masquerades as caution. Fear dresses up as logic. And suddenly, the very opportunity you've dreamed of feels too big, too fast, too soon. But let me remind you, the universe doesn't make impulsive offers. What's arriving in your life now is not a coincidence, it's a culmination. The result of all the inner work, silent prayers, long nights, and self-restraint you've cultivated in seasons when you had every reason to give up. This is not luck. This is alignment. In astrology, we watch transits carefully, especially when the Sun or Jupiter moves through fire signs. These are activation points. Energetic green lights. Windows when momentum becomes visible, and the path you once only felt now becomes walkable. If you're a Leo and you've been sensing that a shift is near, trust that your intuition isn't just wishful thinking, it's resonance. You're picking up on a very real energetic opening, one that's asking you not to wait until you feel perfectly ready, but to act while your heart is still beating loudly with desire. And yes, fear might rise. That's okay. Fear only shows up when something important is on the line. But remember this, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving with clarity in spite of it. One of the greatest forms of self-healing is action. Not reckless action, but intentional movement that says, I believe I was created for more. Even if your voice shakes. Even if the outcome is uncertain. Even if you're afraid to be seen failing. The truth is, the universe isn't watching to see if you succeed. It's watching to see if you say yes. If you're tired, take care of your nervous system before you make your move. Try white light meditation. Breathe into the parts of your body that hold tension and invite in spaciousness. Remind yourself that rest and readiness can coexist. You do not need to be perfect to receive. You only need to be present. You might also consider writing down 3 reasons, 3 deeply personal truths that affirm why you deserve what's arriving. Let those words rewire the stories in your mind. Let them silence the echo of unworthiness that may still linger from the past. Let them become the bridge between who you were and who you're stepping into. And when it's time to take that first step, wear something that embodies your worth. Gold. Emerald green. A color that makes you feel awake, radiant, and grounded in your truth. This isn't about fashion, it's about frequency. When your external world reflects the belief that you are worthy, your energy field begins to speak more clearly to the opportunities waiting outside your door. What's coming is golden, yes, but you are the vessel that gives it shape. And this time, the only thing that stands between you and everything you've asked for is the decision to step forward. Say yes, Leo, not because it's easy, but because it's time. There's a kind of quiet pain that doesn't scream, it simply lingers. And often, the people closest to us carry it so well that we forget they're carrying it at all. But Leo, someone in your life sees you as more than a companion. They see you as an anchor. A lighthouse. A signal that healing is possible, that forward motion is still a choice. You may not realize it, but your strength is teaching them how to keep going. Your resilience is helping them hold their own storms at bay. This person may be a partner, a friend, or even a family member is caught in something they don't know how to name. It could be fear, guilt, unresolved trauma, or the weight of years of self-neglect. But they look at you, Leo, and something inside of them flickers. It's not envy. It's not dependence. It's hope. They see your light, and it awakens a memory of their own. The version of themselves they still want to return to. And yet, they remain stuck, unsure of how to take that first step out of the shadows. That's where you come in, not as their savior, but as their mirror. You don't have to fix them. You don't even have to understand everything they're going through. You simply need to continue being exactly who you are, brave, open-hearted, emotionally grounded. That, in itself, is powerful medicine. There's a reason the universe entrusted you with the Leo heart. It beats with fire and steadiness, with loyalty and clarity. When you walk in your truth, you unintentionally give others permission to do the same. That is your healing gift, and you don't need to force it for it to work. In energetic terms, you're holding the frequency of possibility. You are what we call a vibrational leader. Your internal shift ripples outward. When you take care of your own energy, when you say yes to your own joy, when you choose wholeness over performance, that energy spills into the spaces around you. And sometimes, that's exactly what the people we love need the most. Not advice. Not answers. Just proof that change is not only possible, it's safe. Maybe lately you've felt like pulling away from someone who's draining or emotionally unavailable. That's okay. But before you walk too far, ask yourself this: am I setting a boundary to protect myself, or am I withholding my presence out of fear that I won't be enough? Because sometimes, simply standing tall in your light is more than enough. You don't need to give them your fire. Just let them warm their hands near it. If you feel called, invite them into gentle spaces with you. A walk in nature. A morning stretch. 5 minutes of quiet without distraction. Healing often happens in silence, not speeches. It blooms in shared breath, not shared analysis. The point isn't to change them, it's to show them what is possible when someone chooses peace. And if that feels like too much right now, come back to this truth. The greatest healing you can ever offer someone is the commitment to your own healing first. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you don't need to. Your light is not here to rescue. It is here to remind. To reflect. To ripple. So breathe deeply, Leo. And take heart in knowing this: someone is finding the courage to rise, simply because you didn't give up on rising yourself. Not every return is a reconciliation. And not every message from the past is meant to be reopened. Sometimes, it arrives simply to show you how far you've come, how much stronger you've become, and how deeply you've healed. Leo, someone from your past may reappear soon, perhaps in a text, a quiet hello, or a sudden surge in your memory. But before you react, pause. Breathe. Because the energy around this return is not about love, it's about recognition. They feel your detachment. They sense that they've lost the hold they once had. And more than anything, they feel the absence of control. This is not about blame or revenge. It's about clarity. There was once a version of you that tolerated things out of loneliness, confusion, or hope. A version of you that shrunk your light to keep others from walking away. But that version has evolved. And the person returning may not be aware of who you are now. They may still be looking for the past version of you, the one who questioned their own worth when someone else withheld affection. It's important to understand that some connections are karmic by nature, designed to awaken, disrupt, or redirect us. They teach us through fire, not harmony. They burn down illusions and force us to see where we abandoned ourselves. And when that kind of person comes back, it's not always to repair what was broken, but to test the boundaries you've since built. Energetically, you are no longer who you were when you met them. Your frequency has changed. You've cleared the fog. And now, what they once recognized as familiar feels foreign because it is. This is where discernment matters. The mind might say, maybe they've changed. But the body, the heart, the breath, they know. They contract. They hesitate. They remember. Don't override those signals in the name of being open. Openness without boundaries is vulnerability without wisdom. And Leo, your wisdom has been earned. In the self-help world, we speak often about emotional contracts. These are the unspoken agreements we make with others, to stay small, to stay silent, to stay available even when it hurts. The person returning may not be aware of how much they asked of you, or how deeply they impacted your growth. But your healing was never their responsibility. It was yours. And that's exactly why this moment is so significant. Because now, you get to choose differently. If you feel the urge to respond out of politeness or curiosity, ask yourself, what part of me is still waiting to be seen by them? What part of me believes closure comes from their words? Because the truth is, closure is an internal ceremony. It's the moment you stop rehearsing pain and start reclaiming your peace. If you need to write them a letter, do it. But don't send it. Let it live as a ritual, not a conversation. Let your words cleanse the residue of what no longer serves your becoming. Protect your energy field with intention. Wear colors that ground you: silver to reflect projections, deep violet to shield your heart center. These are not just aesthetics, they're energetic armor. And above all, remind yourself of your non-negotiables. Write them out. Declare them. These are your new terms of love, forged not in fear, but in self-respect. Leo, your light is magnetic, but it's not meant to be used. It's meant to inspire. The people who truly belong in your next chapter will never try to dim you to fit their shadow. Let this return be a mirror, not a moment of reunion. You've already outgrown the version of yourself that once needed their validation. Now, you're walking in truth. And that is more powerful than any apology ever spoken. There is a moment when the soul stops asking for permission to evolve. When all the rehearsals, the waiting rooms, and the inner negotiations fall silent and only one thing remains, the undeniable pull to step forward. Leo, this is that moment. The space between who you were and who you're becoming has begun to dissolve, and the invitation in front of you is simple, yet sacred. Walk through. The door has opened not because of luck or timing, but because your frequency has changed enough to match what's waiting on the other side. In astrology, We understand moments like this as threshold alignments, times when the chart of your life lines up with cosmic windows that act as gateways. You may have noticed repeating signs, moments of déjà vu, an uptick in angel number 111, or a sense that things you used to tolerate now feel unbearable. This isn't discomfort for the sake of chaos. It's a divine recalibration. Your nervous system is adjusting to the truth of who you really are, and everything that doesn't match that truth is naturally beginning to fall away. A quantum leap doesn't always look dramatic on the outside. Often, it begins quietly with a decision. A subtle refusal to play small. A new boundary that says, no more depletion. A sentence written at 2 a.m. that starts a chapter you didn't know you had in you. These shifts, while invisible at first, send powerful ripples into your energetic field. They signal to the universe, I'm ready for a life that reflects my healing, not my wounds. But readiness doesn't mean you have to be fearless. It simply means you're willing. Willing to release the identities that kept you safe but small. Willing to let go of relationships that were once anchors but have now become cages. Willing to believe that stability and expansion can coexist, that wealth doesn't require burnout, and that love doesn't require shrinking. The energy around you now is deeply supportive of renewal. You may feel called to cleanse not just your physical space, but the patterns that live in your closets and memory. Start with what you see, open your windows, let the stale air out. Use salt water to cleanse mirrors and doors. Let music realign the vibration of your home. Create beauty in corners that have been neglected, both outside and within. And don't forget the digital and emotional clutter. Go through your contacts. Ask yourself who you're still carrying that doesn't reflect who you are now. Let go without guilt. Every phone number deleted, every message archived, every item donated is an act of affirmation. I trust where I'm going more than I cling to where I've been. If you're feeling called to start fresh, honor that pull with intention. Write a new list of goals, not just what you want to do, but how you want to feel. Choose colors that reflect your rebirth. White, for clarity. Gold, for embodied abundance. Copper, for grounded transformation. These shades don't just decorate, they activate. What's unfolding is more than a shift. It's a liberation. You are not simply stepping forward, you are stepping into alignment with your divine assignment. And though the road ahead may still have its curves, you are no longer walking in circles. The loops have closed. The detours have expired. You are ready not just to receive, but to rise. The door isn't just opening. It's been waiting for you. And now, dear Leo, as we come to the end of this message, let me remind you gently but firmly what this moment truly represents. This is no longer the season of waiting. This is not the time to question if you are ready, worthy, or strong enough. The universe has already spoken. The blessing has already been dispatched. The shift is already underway. And what remains now is for you to meet it. You've traveled through so many inner landscapes in this reading, from the space of being overlooked or owed, to the magnetic pull of a new opportunity, from the weight of past relationships testing your growth, to the quiet responsibility of carrying light for those you love. And now, here you are standing at the gate of transformation, crown in hand, ready to choose not just what happens next, but who you are while it happens. What if you truly believe that this moment wasn't just a nice reading, but a mirror reflecting the energy you've already cultivated. What if the shift isn't coming but has already begun, and your role now is simply to stop resisting and start responding? What would happen if you stopped hesitating and instead leaned into the truth that you are no longer who you used to be? There is a beauty, Leo, in realizing that no one else gets to write the terms of your destiny. That you have the authority to decide who walks with you, what energies you allow into your space, and what old patterns are no longer invited into your future. You are not waiting for permission. You are stepping into position. So as you move forward from this video, I encourage you to do something more than just take this in. Anchor it. Integrate it. Choose one action, just one that aligns with the vibration of what you've heard today. Maybe it's writing down the new standard you hold for love. Maybe it's deleting an old contact. Maybe it's saying yes to an opportunity that scares you. Whatever it is, let your soul know you're listening. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What part of this message spoke directly to your heart? Was it the reminder of your divine compensation? The gentle nudge to act when opportunity knocks? The courage to say no to the past? Or the quiet power of healing through presence? Share it in the comments below. Your voice matters here. And if you feel called, write, "I'm ready to step into my wealthy destiny." Let that declaration echo into the energetic field that surrounds you. Let it be the seed you plant today, with the full knowing that harvest is already en route. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for showing up not just for a message but for yourself. Every like, every comment, every subscription is a vibration that keeps this community growing, and helps us send more of these soul-anchored messages to those who need them most. This is eternal mindfulness, where your light is never forgotten, your voice is always welcome, and your journey is deeply honored. Stay open. Stay ready. And above all, stay aligned. Because your next chapter begins now.